Fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right, I want to talk to you a little bit more about things that I've been meditating on. And one of the main meditations lately, or one of the things, the impartations that I've been getting through my meditation, has been to listen to the elders and the ancestors. So one of our major problems as people, as a people, is the fact that we don't do that anymore. And as a matter of fact, mostly the elders and the ancestors have been kicked out and have been put out, even though they're mostly responsible for what's going on right now if you're in touch with them. All right. So the reason why I want to say this is because of the fact of, number one, I have to mention John Lewis, who recently passed away and became an ancestor. And one of the things that he championed throughout his life was voting and voting rights. We must understand that right now we must vote like never before. We must also understand that your common enemy is trying to force you not to vote. All right. And so all the people that are sitting up there talking about not voting and all that kind of stuff is absolutely crazy, because under the system that it's all well and good to want change and to want the system to be changed and all that. But the one thing is that before the election in November, all of that is not going to change because there's not enough time. All right. So whatever it is, whether or not you want a third party, whatever. Now, here's the thing. And then we have Russian interference. So we have the whole Russian political system is trying to influence this election because they want Trump back in. They want Trump back in because it makes the United States unstable. And an unstable United States means that their money and the world economy is worth more money. All right. So that's one thing. The second thing is because they know that with a weak United States that they can do other things. That means like there's going to be another 4 years of just idiocy, from point A to point Z. All right. Because right now, we have no leadership. That's the problem that we have with our country. We have no leadership, and no one is following the rule of law. So meaning that no one is following nothing is basically as close to anarchy as you can get. And everybody talks about martial law and this, that, and the other thing. Well, right now we're pretty much, we have no money. The government is broke. We owe money. We owe trillions of dollars. Just in my state, I live in Arizona. Just in our state alone, we have like a million people unemployed. You've got businesses closing down. See, this is all the stuff that the mainstream media is not really showing you because they're trying to keep focused on coronavirus and all the other things, the smoke screen and mirrors, to be able to try to keep you out of what's really going on. And what's really going on is one of the biggest transfers of wealth in the history of the United States. All right, so rich people are getting richer, and if you keep noticing these numbers, all of the people who own these major corporations, the Amazons, the Facebooks, all of this stuff, whatever, all of these things, they're making billions. They're not just making millions, and their net worth has increased by billions since the beginning of coronavirus. The other thing you have to look at, $1,200 for you, 1,200,000 for them, so it's going down. All right. And even the whole racism thing, racism is a guise. Why? Because it's racism, once again, is smoke screen and mirrors. Pay us, give us reparations, give us money. Forget about all of that other stuff, because right now all they're doing is they're going to destroy the economy, which is already destroyed, and then then we're going to spend the next few years trying to build it back up. Going to go in a few more years, and then boom, there'll be a new administration, right? Well, let's stem the tide. Right now, the best thing that you can do in honor John Lewis is to vote. Now, the second thing is by not honoring the ancestors and by not honoring the elders, what we're doing is we're allowing people like Kanye West and Nick Cannon and whoever else we got out there, that wants to take the bag. Let's be honest. Nick Cannon took the bag. he got, he went and met with those rabbis. The rabbis made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He took the money and he ran because he wants the fame and fortune more than he cares about the future of Africans and the descendants of Africans. All right, so that's as plain as you can put it. The same thing is absolutely true for Kanye West. All of this stuff they're doing, all they're trying to do is get people who ignore tradition and ignore you. Remember, you are your ancestors. Your ancestors, their blood runs through your veins. You are your elders. Your elders' blood runs through your veins. And it's horrible. I mean, really, it is. It's 100% horrible that we're not listening to these people. And the fact of the matter is that they survived through a whole bunch of stuff. And as a matter of fact, the advances that we have, but what we have to do is we have to be participatory. You're not going to change anything by being apathetic or vote for somebody that can't win. So you're going to go and vote for Kanye West, or Nick Cannon talking about he voted for Kanye West. For what? The man is a lunatic. All right? And so we're going to, and then God forbid, what happens if he wins? Y'all already know he's a loose cannon and he's unstable. So if he did win, let me humor you a little bit. All right? If he does win, what would a Kanye West presidency? He can't even run his own personal life. And having a lot of money, just like everybody talk about Trump having a lot of money. Having a lot of money does not mean a thing. And I think y'all have seen that. Trump supposedly is a billionaire, but I mean he's morally morally bankrupt. I mean he's a moral disaster. And he represents the United States of America. And everybody wants to talk about, protesting and all the unpatriotic stuff. But think about all the unpatriotic stuff he does and he has done, and all the unpatriotic things he has said and done. It's ridiculous, and he's not intelligent. And I don't think anybody thinks that Kanye West is in his right mind. You really believe he's in his right mind to run the United States of America? And do you really think that all the sane people in the country would turn out and vote for, or even even if all the insane people turned out and voted for, we're in big trouble as a country. All right, and then like I said, and then shame on Nick Cannon. Shame on you. Why are you apologizing? It's like you don't want to know. I guess you don't know what side you want to be on. It's bad, and once again, it all boils down to because we don't have any political power, and because we don't have any economic power, we can't change the tide. We can't change the tide, and nothing he did, nothing he said changed the tide. And even when he said he should have let it alone. You said what you said, and then you have to. But here's the thing: he doesn't trust us to be behind it. He doesn't see, and that's another thing. Once you come out and you're into these frays and you're into these different things and you're into these fights, who's going to stand there and fight with him? And who's going to help pay? Who's going to support his television productions? And that's what they don't realize. It's like look, when you get the nigga wake up call, excuse my French, but when you get that wake up call, which he has gotten, then who can you turn to? Because the only people that he can turn to is black people. There's nobody else he can really turn to. And he turned to the Jewish rabbis. He turned to them, and of course I'm anti-Semitic for saying this, but that's who he turned to, and they paid him off to shut up. And now he's coming out supporting Kanye West, which is also, do you realize that everybody that's out there that's doing all this stuff, they're getting paid, and so the only decision that you have to make is, do I get paid? And then we even got old heads. Don't get me wrong. We got some old heads and everybody else walking around talking about they ain't gonna vote. But what I'm trying to say is, tell me. And I keep asking this one question, and nobody can answer this question for me. And I mean, I talk to a lot of people. Nobody can answer this question for me. Okay, how is not voting beneficial what what actual action or reaction does it create in order to make change? And the answer to the question is none. If I don't vote, who cares? Because the people that voted, they win. That's what I'm saying. It's illogical. All of this stuff, to me, is the most illogical stuff, and we falling for it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote. I'm not voting. We even got older people like Boyce Watkins and all of them. They walking around here, talking about the same thing. And Brother Anderson, he talking about the same thing. It's like, it's ridiculous. Not voting, and is the same thing as not having no money. Because and I keep saying this, economic power and political power go hand in hand. Because people with money, they use their money to get political power. They use their money to get into places with the politicians and the people that are making the laws and the rules, because if the laws and the rules are on their side, then they get an opportunity to use those laws and rules in their favor. That's all it is. Just like all those companies that met up there on Capitol Hill, you got Amazon and all the big wig corporations and all that, and they're all up on Capitol Hill talking about antitrust. Well, they're shattering the antitrust laws. They're breaking them all day. Because what? Because you have a president that does not follow the rule of law and will not send the attorney general in to break up these corporations. Why? Because he's getting kickbacks. That's what's going on. He gave these people a tax cut, and in the process of this entire coronavirus thing, you got people once again that have made billions, and I'm talking about double-digit billions. Zuckerberg at Facebook, he has made double-digit billions since the beginning of coronavirus. All right, and nobody is talking about the compartmentalization of everybody. They're breaking us up. They're instead of all this stuff they're talking about. The reason why they don't want to cure it is because it's a way to break us up, and then it's also a blame. It's a way to blame all the stuff that went wrong. Oh, well, nothing we could do about it. It was coronavirus. Because once again, people are social beings. People are not going to stop being people. No matter how compartmentalized they are, they're going to still be people. They're still gonna love one another and get married and have children and all the different things that happen with human beings. We're not gonna stop being human. And I think that's the thing that's being overshadowed in all of this. A mask and washing your hands is not going to change your nature. And the other thing is, and they still don't know the pathology of this virus. They don't know how it's spread. They really don't. Why? It's like, because, me and my wife laughed about this last night. It's like, how can you go into like QT? Like, how does a worker in QT survive the entire coronavirus? And I mean, there's all kinds of nasty people coming through, people with masks, people with no masks, same thing, the grocery store workers, all these other people, but they're surviving. Why are they surviving? Why are they surviving and nobody else is surviving? It's ridiculous. It's like, how do they survive, but then somebody goes to a Trump rally and dies like the next day? It's like, what is the pathology of this virus? They don't know. And more than that is, they're not really trying to find out, to tell you the truth. But they're stealing money. It's like they're stealing money. So we understand that, and we know that that's what's going on. But we're caught up in the muse, which I tell my people all the time. Don't get caught up in the muse, museums, music, whatever. Don't get caught up in it, because once you get caught up in that, that's when we start having that whole cognitive dissonance and all that stuff. Is like, hey, it is like it is. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. Listen to the elders. Listen to the ancestors. They are you. That's who you are. You are your elders and your ancestors. You're not these people that's telling you all of these lies. All right? Anyway, I love you. I'd like to give a shout out to my son who is also who chimed in on my video at the end. I'm about to kill him anyway. Anyway, I love you all, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons for me.